Hello, St. Francis School. It's Sarah here, and it's really good to be back with you this week. I was wondering, have you ever laid out on the grass on a really clear night and looked up at the stars? It's something that I really love to do. And no, that's not dust on your screen. It's a picture of a starry night. And maybe you've lain out and you've maybe even seen shooting stars or satellites going past. And it makes me feel really, really small when I do that. Now, if I was on one of those stars and I could look back at planet Earth, here is what it would look like. It would look like this. And if you're really careful, you can see with my pointer here, you could see Africa. So you can see a whole continent there, but what you can't see is any people on it because people are just too small to be picked up, aren't they? We are tiny in the general scheme of things. What about if we put planet Earth in relation to the sun? There it is. There's planet Earth with my pointer there. And the sun, in comparison to Earth, is huge. And of course, it keeps us warm. And the sun is what people would see as a star. So that's what stars are. They're things like our sun. If you're laying on your back and you're looking up at the night sky, if you're very lucky and there's not too much light around, you might be able to see a whole load of stars gathered together. And that's because we are part of a galaxy, and a galaxy is like a collection of stars. And I wonder if you know the name of the galaxy that we live in. Well, I'm sure you do. It's the Milky Way galaxy, isn't it? And there's a picture of the Milky Way galaxy, and that's a little pointer as to where our own sun is, with us just off the side of it. So beautiful, isn't it? Now then, if you were a spaceship, this is in fact a photograph taken from a spaceship, and these rays here are rays of light catching on the spaceship. And this is a picture from way outside the galaxy looking back, and that tiny blue blob is planet Earth. We are so tiny. Doesn't it make you feel a little bit weird, like we're so small in the midst of this? Now, if you could look in the center of the Milky Way galaxy, it would be absolutely full of stars. I don't think we'd really survive in there because they're all a bit like our sun, and it would be really, really hot. So it's a good job we live on a tiny little branch of the galaxy round the outside. You know, ours is not the only galaxy in the universe. In our huge, vast universe, there are loads of galaxies. And this is a really beautiful one called the Sombrero galaxy. A sombrero, do you know what a sombrero is? It's a Mexican hat, isn't it? And I guess that looks a little bit like a Mexican hat with a really wide brim and a dome over the top. But of course, that's what it was called by astronomers who can look out from planet Earth and see these beautiful galaxies and even take pictures. How about that? That is called the Hourglass Nebula, and that's just another galaxy. It's one that's slowly dying. It's giving off lots of gases, but it is beautiful. It even looks a bit like somebody's watching us. It's an eye. Now, the only person watching us is God, and if God is watching us, then for sure he is looking down with great love and nothing to be scared about. But it's kind of amazing that that even looks like an eye, isn't it? And what about that? That's another galaxy. That one's called the Helix galaxy. And again, it kind of looks like an eye, but whatever, it's so beautiful. Now, this galaxy is called the Whirlpool galaxy, and look at those pink sparkly stars. It is just huge, that one, so much bigger than our own Milky Way galaxy and so much further away. Well, you know, Christians believe that God made all of these galaxies. He made the whole universe, that there was absolutely nothing. And then God decided to create the universe. And so there was a big bang, and out of nothing came all of these galaxies and even our own planet Earth, which is extraordinary. And it talks about it in the Bible. There's a book of poems in the Bible called the Psalms. And the psalm writer, the poem writer, if you like, he talks about looking at the stars quite a bit. So I just want to read you a bit of one of them called, it's number 19, and it says this: "The heavens proclaim the glory of God, the skies display his craftsmanship. Day after day they continue to speak, night after night they make him known. They speak without a sound or a word, their voice is never heard. Yet their message has gone throughout the earth and their words to all the world." So when we hear that, we can hear that the psalm writer is telling us that God put all of these beautiful stars and galaxies there, and that the stars and galaxies kind of speak to us of the God who created them. Now, there's another psalm that I'd like to read you a little bit of. It's Psalm 8. And you can imagine the psalm writer lying on his or her back and saying these words: "When I look at the night sky and see the work of your fingers, God, the moon and the stars that you set in place, what are mere people that you should think about them? Human beings that you should care for them." I kind of know what he means. When we look up at the universe and it's just so incredibly huge, it is mind blowing to think that God made it all. And yet he also made you and me, just tiny, tiny dots, so small we can't even imagine. And yet he made us and he cares for us that much. In fact, Christians believe that God cares for us so much that he sent his son Jesus to show us how much he loves us. And Jesus shows us what God is like, that God is kind and caring, and that he comes to heal us and to help us. And in the end, Jesus died on the cross, taking all the bad and sad things in the world away with him. And that's why we have the symbol of a cross as Christians. There's an example. Well, I've got one last picture of space that I'd like to show you. Do you remember the whirlpool galaxy? It was the one with all the pink sparkly stars. Incredibly, in the middle of that galaxy, scientists have been able to take a photograph, and this is what they saw. It's called the X structure. But it really looks like the cross that we just saw, doesn't it? Look, there's the cross. And right in the middle of that galaxy, there is a structure that looks just like the cross. It really helps us to remember that Jesus is in the middle of everything that we can see. He's right in the middle of the universe, holding it together. And he is in absolutely everything. He made absolutely everything, and he's in the middle of it. That blows my mind. I don't know about you. Why don't we say a prayer together as we finish? Dear God, thank you that you made the whole universe. Thank you that it is so beautiful. And thank you that you made each one of us too. Thank you that you made each of us different and special, and that you love us. Dear God, it kind of blows my mind that you could have made this huge universe, but that you also made little old me. Thank you that you care enough about humans to have made us. Please, would you help me to care for others just like you care for me? Amen. It's great to be with you, St. Francis School, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.